The elevator doors slid open with a chime that echoed like a gunshot in the empty lobby, and Levi stumbled out, his tie askew, bloodshot eyes burning from the fluorescent glare. He clutched a crumpled resignation letter in his fist, the words, "I can't do this anymore," blurring through fresh tears. He'd finally snapped after 3 years of being invisible to the man who owned his every waking hour. But as he turned toward the revolving doors of the towering glass monolith that was Blackwood Enterprises, a voice sliced through the silence like shattered ice. "Levi, don't you dare walk out that door." Ronald Blackwood stood at the far end of the lobby, his silhouette framed by the massive windows overlooking the glittering sprawl of New York City at 2 a.m. The CEO's Armani suit hung impeccably on his broad frame, but his face, God, that face was a storm cloud, jaw clenched, silver-flecked hair disheveled as if he'd been raking his fingers through it for hours. Levi froze, heart slamming against his ribs like a trapped bird. He'd seen Ronald command boardrooms, dismantle competitors with a single arched brow. But this raw edge, this plea disguised as a command, it was the first crack in the fortress Ronald had built around himself. "Levi," Ronald repeated, his voice dropping an octave, gravelly from exhaustion or something deeper, something that made Levi's stomach twist. He took a step forward, then another, closing the distance until the scent of his cologne, sandalwood and steel, invaded Levi's space. "We need to talk. Now." It wasn't a request. Levi's resolve crumbled like wet paper. He nodded, letting Ronald steer him back into the elevator with a firm hand on his elbow, the touch electric, forbidden. As the doors sealed them in, Levi wondered if this was the night everything shattered, or the night he finally saw the man behind the mask. The ascent was torture. 30 floors of silence broken only by the soft whir of cables and Levi's ragged breathing. He stared at the floor numbers ticking up, each one a reminder of how far he'd fallen for this impossible man. Ronald Blackwood, 45, widowed young after a car accident that left him with a faint scar snaking down his left temple, a billionaire who'd clawed his way from a Queens tenement to the pinnacle of Wall Street. To the world, he was the Ice King, ruthless in mergers, untouchable in scandals. To Levi, he was the boss who'd promoted him from mailroom grunt to executive assistant on a whim 3 years ago, only to treat him like a ghost ever since. Late nights compiling reports that Ronald barely glanced at, coffee runs at dawn, rescheduling lovers, yes, lovers, because even kings had their flings, that Levi pretended didn't gut him. "Why now?" Levi finally burst out as the elevator dinged on the penthouse level. The doors opened to Ronald's private office, a cavern of sleek black marble and floor-to-ceiling windows that made the city below look like a conquered kingdom. 3 years of me pouring my soul into this place, and you pick tonight to act like I matter? After I just handed in my notice because I can't. He choked, the words "love you" from the shadows dying on his tongue. Ronald didn't answer right away. He crossed to the bar cart, pouring 2 fingers of scotch into crystal tumblers with hands that trembled just enough to betray him. The liquid caught the low light, amber fire. "Because you're right," he said finally, handing Levi a glass. Their fingers brushed, and Levi swore he felt the world tilt. "You've been carrying this company, and me on your back. And I've been too much of a coward to admit it." Levi took the drink, the burn down his throat steadying him. Coward? Ronald? The man who'd stared down a hostile takeover from Silicon Valley vultures without flinching? He laughed, bitter and broken. "Coward how? By ignoring every sign? By letting me think I'm just the guy who fetches your dry cleaning, while you bed models who look like they stepped out of a cologne ad, The words hung heavy, laced with the ache of too many stolen glances, too many dreams of what if. Ronald's eyes darkened, storm gray meeting Levi's hazel with an intensity that pinned him in place. You think that's all you are? Christ. Levi, you're the only one who's ever seen me. The real me. Not the boardroom shark. Not the widower they pity. He set his glass down hard, the clink echoing. Eleanor, my wife, she died 10 years ago, and I buried everything with her. The grief, the guilt, the part of me that could feel again. But you've been chipping away at that wall since day one. Levi's breath hitched. Eleanor. The ghost in every photo on Ronald's desk. The reason for the empty ring finger and the late-night silences. He'd always assumed Ronald's coldness was grief-frozen, not a shield against something more. I didn't know, he whispered, stepping closer despite himself. The office felt smaller now, the city lights blurring into a hazy backdrop. You never said, because saying it means admitting I'm terrified. Ronald's voice cracked, and he reached out, cupping Levi's jaw with a gentleness that belied his strength. Thumb tracing the line of Levi's cheekbone, rough callus against smooth skin. Terrified of this. Of you. The kiss was inevitable, a collision of pent-up longing and unspoken truths. Ronald's lips crashed against Levi's, demanding yet tender, tasting of scotch and salt from tears Levi hadn't realized were falling. Levi melted into it, hands fisting in Ronald's shirt, pulling him closer as if he could fuse their broken pieces together. It was messy, desperate, teeth nipping, tongues tangling, years of restraint unraveling in seconds. When they broke apart, gasping, Ronald rested his forehead against Levi's. I squeezed shut. Stay, he murmured. Please. Levi stayed. That night, they didn't make it to the couch. Papers scattered across the desk like fallen leaves as Ronald lifted him onto the polished mahogany, hands roaming with a reverence that made Levi's chest ache. Clothes shed in a frenzy. Ronald's tie discarded like a shed skin, Levi's shirt buttons popping under eager fingers. Skin to skin. It was revelation. Ronald's body a map of hard-earned muscle and faded scars. Levi's leaner frame yielding under the weight of worshipful touches. Whispers in the dark. You're beautiful. I've wanted this. Don't leave me. Wove through gasps and moans. The city indifferent below. Dawn crept in like a thief, painting the room in soft grays. Levi woke tangled in Ronald's arms on the office rug, a cashmere throw draped over them from God knows where. Ronald's breath was even against his neck, one arm possessive around his waist. For the first time in years, Levi felt seen, cherished. But as the sun climbed higher, reality intruded. The resignation letter still crumpled on the floor, a buzzing phone heralding the start of another relentless day. They dressed in silence, stolen glances and shy smiles bridging the gap. About last night, Ronald started, straightening his cufflinks with uncharacteristic fumbling. That wasn't a one-off. I want more. If you'll have me, Levi's heart soared. Yes. God. Yes. He sealed it with a quick kiss, tasting coffee on Ronald's lips from the pot they'd shared at dawn. But the workday crashed in like a wave. Emails piled up, a crisis in Tokyo demanding Ronald's laser focus. Levi slipped back into assistant mode, scheduling calls, but now with undercurrents, fingers lingering on handoffs, heated looks across the conference table. By noon, the office buzzed with whispers. Had anyone seen the boss smile like that before? Levi ignored them, floating on the high of possibility. It was the little things that built the dream. That evening, Ronald canceled a gala to cook pasta in his Tribeca loft, sleeves rolled up, flour dusting his apron like unexpected joy. Levi watched from the island stool, mesmerized by the domesticity, the way Ronald's laugh rumbled low when sauce splattered. They ate on the balcony overlooking the Hudson, feet tangled under the table, talking about everything and nothing. Levi's childhood in Ohio cornfields, Ronald's first Wall Street hustle selling knockoff watches on the subway. "You're nothing like I imagined," Levi said, swirling wine in his glass. Ronald arched a brow, that signature smirk softened by candlelight. "And what's that? A machine. But you're human. Messy. Perfect." The night deepened into lovemaking on silk sheets, slower this time, exploratory. Ronald mapped Levi's body with lips and hands, drawing out sighs like confessions. "I love the way you taste," he murmured against Levi's thigh, voice husky. Levi arched, lost in the symphony of their bodies, skin sliding, breath sinking, the world narrowing to this bed, this man. Weeks blurred into a secret rhythm. Stolen weekends in the Hamptons, where Ronald shed his suits for swim trunks, diving into waves with boyish abandon. Levi captured it all in quiet moments. Ronald reading the Sunday Times on the porch, glasses perched on his nose. Lazy afternoons sketching Levi's profile while he napped, the pencil strokes tender. They built walls against the world, NDAs for discretion, alibis for dates, but inside, it was freedom. Levi felt roots taking hold, a future blooming. Yet shadows lingered. Ronald's phone calls grew cryptic. Late-night meetings with a name Levi didn't recognize, Victor Hale. "Just business," Ronald dismissed with a kiss, but his eyes flickered. Levi pushed it down, unwilling to taint their fragile happiness. One crisp October evening, as leaves turned the Central Park paths to fire, it all teetered. They strolled hand in hidden hand, scarves whipping in the wind. "Marry me," Ronald said suddenly, stopping under a canopy of crimson maples. Not a ring, just the words, raw and real. Levi's yes was a sob, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of forever. But forevers, Levi would learn, were fragile things. The proposal hung between them like a promise etched in autumn gold, but Levi couldn't shake the undercurrent of unease. Victor Hale's name echoed in his mind during quiet moments, a discordant note in their symphony. Who was he? A rival? An old flame? Ronald brushed off questions with deflections. Old college buddy. Nothing more. And Levi let it slide, too enamored to press. Their life together was a whirlwind of stolen bliss. Power lunches turned flirtations. Boardroom battles where Ronald's foot nudged Levi's under the table, sending sparks up his spine. Thanksgiving approached, and Ronald insisted on hosting, his first real holiday since Eleanor's death. The loft transformed, a 20-pound turkey roasting, Levi basting it with herbs while Ronald chopped vegetables, their laughter mingling with jazz from the speakers. Friends arrived, carefully vetted, queer allies from Ronald's inner circle. Marcus, the flamboyant art dealer with a wicked wit. Elena, a tech whiz who'd crushed on Levi since their NYU days. No prying eyes, no judgments. As they carved the bird under twinkling lights, Ronald's hand found Levi's under the table, squeezing. "To new beginnings," he toasted. eyes locked on Levi's, and the room erupted in cheers. That night, sated and tipsy, they made love on the living room rug by the fire, bodies glowing in the hearth's flicker. Ronald was insatiable, tracing Levi's collarbone with teeth, marking him in ways that bloomed purple by morning. "Mine," he growled, and Levi preened under the possession, whispering back, "Always," but cracks spiderwebbed. The Monday after, Levi overheard a call in Ronald's office, door ajar, voice low and laced with venom. "Victor, if you breathe a word." The rest faded as Ronald slammed the receiver, but Levi's blood ran cold. He confronted him that evening over takeout lo mein, chopsticks paused midair. "Who's Victor? Really? And don't bullshit me." Ronald's fork clattered. His face shuddered, the Ice King resurfacing. "It's complicated. He was Eleanor's brother. After the accident, he blamed me, said I drove her to it, that our marriage was a sham." The words tumbled out, jagged. "We'd been fighting about everything, including me coming out. She knew, Levi, about this part of me, and she was okay. But Victor, he found letters, photos, blackmail material if it got out." Levi's world tilted. "Letters? Photos? You were cheating on her? With men?" "No." Ronald's denial was fierce, hands gripping Levi's. "Just confusion. Flings before we met. Stupid kid stuff. But Victor's twisted it into something ugly. He's been bleeding me dry for years, hush money to keep it buried. If the board finds out, I'm done. The company, our life gone." Betrayal stung, not for the past, but for the secrets hoarded like grenades. "Why didn't you tell me? I'm not some fragile thing you need to protect." "Because I was ashamed." Ronald's voice broke, head bowing. "Ashamed of the mess I am. But with you, I want clean. Honest." They clung that night, tears mingling on pillows, forging deeper bonds in vulnerability. Levi forgave, love like theirs demanded grace, and they vowed transparency. No more shadows. December dusted the city in snow, blanketing their romance in magic. They decorated the loft tree together, ornaments from Ronald's childhood clashing with Levi's quirky thrift store finds. On Christmas Eve, under a canopy of lights, Ronald produced a ring, platinum band etched with their initials, simple yet profound. "Not legal yet," he said, sliding it on Levi's finger. "But it's us. Forever starts here." Levi's yes was breathless, sealed with passion that shook the rafters. They made a ritual of it. Vows whispered in the dark, bodies entwined as witnesses. "I promise to see you, all of you," Levi murmured against Ronald's pulse. "To fight for us." The new year dawned with champagne toasts and resolutions. Come out publicly, once the Victor threat neutralized. Lawyers were engaged, payoffs tallied, a final severance to silence the ghost. Levi threw himself into wedding plans, daydreaming Hampton's ceremonies with ocean vows, while juggling Ronald's schedule amid a merger frenzy. It was perfect until Valentine's Day. Ronald surprised him with a weekend in Aspen, private jet whisking them to snow-capped peaks. They skied by day, Levi tumbling into drifts with yelps that dissolved into laughter, Ronald catching him every time. Evenings in the lodge, roaring fires, mulled wine, slow dances to Norah Jones. On the last night, in a suite with views of endless white, Ronald dropped to one knee again, this time with a velvet box holding matching rings. Marry me properly. Say you'll be my husband. Tears blurred Levi's vision. Yes. 1,000 times. Their lovemaking was a celebration. Languid explorations, Ronald's mouth charting paths of fire down Levi's chest, drawing out pleas that echoed off timber walls. I love you, Ronald breathed, entering him with deliberate tenderness, their rhythms syncing like heartbeats. Levi shattered first, crying out Ronald's name like a prayer, and Ronald followed, collapsing in a tangle of limbs and I love yous. Back in New York, bliss carried them. But Victor's shadow loomed. A package arrived at the office, anonymous, brown-wrapped. Levi opened it, heart-pounding. Grainy photos of young Ronald with men, time-stamped pre-Eleanor, alongside a note, pay up or the world sees the fraud. Ronald's face drained of color. It's him. Again. This time, fury ignited. They hired a PI, tracing Victor to a seedy Brooklyn bar, drowning debts in booze. Confrontation brewed, but Ronald wanted peace. One last payment. Then we expose him legally. Levi agreed, but unease festered. Whispers in board meetings. Rumors of instability. Stocks dipping. Was it coincidence? March brought cherry blossoms and a gala. Blackwood's annual fundraiser for LGBTQ plus youth shelters. Ronald's quiet passion. Levi stood at his side in a tailored tux, hand brushing his in the crowd. Pride swelling as Ronald keynote. Visibility isn't a luxury. It's survival. The applause thundered. But Levi caught a figure in the shadows, tall, gaunt, eyes like daggers. Victor. Later, in the limo home, Ronald pulled Levi close. You were brilliant tonight. My anchor. Levi melted into the kiss. But as they pulled up to the loft, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ask your lover about the accident. He killed her. Ice flooded Levi's veins. He deleted it, chalking it to Victor's poison. But sleep evaded him that night. Ronald snores a distant comfort. The betrayal brewed slowly, like a storm over the Atlantic. Levi dove into work, compiling dossiers on Victor, but distractions mounted. Anonymous tips to the press. Stocks plummeting. Ronald grew distant, buried in damage control, their nights strained with exhaustion rather than ecstasy. One rainy April evening, Levi found the letters. Tucked in Ronald's safe, behind stock certificates. Faded pages from Eleanor, professing love but laced with pain. Ronnie, I can't compete with ghosts of who you might be. If you love men, go. Don't drag us both down. And a draft from Ronald. I'm sorry. I tried. Tears blurred the ink. Tried? What did that mean for them? Levi confronted him at dawn, papers trembling in his hands. Did you love her? Or was it all a lie? Ronald's eyes widened, then shuddered. I loved her, as much as I could. But it wasn't enough. For her. For me. He reached out, but Levi recoiled. This is why I hid it. The past poisons everything. Not if we're honest. Levi's voice cracked. But you're still hiding. Victor's not the only ghost. The argument escalated. Words like shrapnel, accusations of using Levi as a rebound, Ronald's roar of, you think this is easy? Loving you terrifies me. Doors slammed. Levi storming to the guest room, heart fracturing. Days passed in icy civility. Levi threw himself into a solo project, liaising with the shelters, finding solace in wide-eyed kids sharing stories of coming out. One boy, Jamie, reminded him of his younger self. Love's worth the fight, right? It was. He returned home with resolve, finding Ronald pacing the loft, scotch in hand. "I'm sorry," they said in unison, colliding in a hug that dissolved into sobs. Forgiveness was a balm, their lovemaking a reclamation. Urgent, affirming, Ronald's whispers of "you're my truth" against Levi's skin. But Victor struck then, vicious. Leaked photos hit the tabloids, Blackwood's bisexual bombshell, widower's dirty secrets, stocks cratered, protests at the office gates. Ronald faced the board, Levi at his side, chin high. "This changes nothing," Ronald declared. "I'm proud of who I am. Of us." The board balked, but allies rallied, Marcus with legal firepower, Elena with viral campaigns. They weathered it, emerging scarred but stronger, wedding plans accelerating. Summer hummed with heat and hope. They escaped to Fire Island, pink sands and circuit parties a queer utopia. Levi danced shirtless under stars, Ronald's arms his harbor. "This is us," Ronald murmured, nipping his ear. Unapologetic, yet in the quiet, Levi glimpsed fractures, Ronald's nightmares, waking sweat-soaked, muttering Eleanor's name. "Just dreams," he'd say, pulling Levi close. But Levi wondered, was the past truly buried? The Fire Island idol shattered on the solstice, a full moon casting silver paths on waves as Levi and Ronald walked the beach, barefoot, hands linked. Salt air carried laughter from distant bonfires, but tension coiled in Ronald's grip, too tight, too possessive. "What's wrong?" Levi asked, halting to face him, the ocean's roar underscoring his words. Ronald's gaze drifted to the horizon, jaw working. "Jamie's story today. It hit close. That kid, hiding who he is, it reminded me of me. Before Eleanor. Before everything." Levi's chest tightened. They'd volunteered at the shelter that morning, reading to teens, but Ronald had gone quiet after Jamie's tale of familial rejection. "Talk to me." No more walls. A sigh escaped Ronald, ragged. "The accident. It wasn't just bad luck. We were arguing that night. About Victor finding the letters." She stormed out, drunk, furious. "I chased her, but..." His voice fractured. "The truck came from nowhere. If I'd stopped her, or told her sooner..." Guilt Levi had sensed but never named crashed over him. "You didn't kill her. Grief lies, Ron. It twists blame into chains." Ronald pulled him close, foreheads touching, tears salting their skin. "You unchain me. Every day." The kiss was salt water and salvation, deepening as waves lapped their feet. They tumbled to the sand, clothes discarded in the moon's glow, bodies merging with the night's wild pulse. Ronald entered him slowly, eyes locked, each thrust a vow. "I choose you. Here. Now." Ecstasy crested like a breaker, leaving them spent and starlit, promises whispered into damp hair. "We'll get through this," Levi said, tracing Ronald's scar. Together, back in the city, the scandal's aftershocks rippled. The board demanded a stability plan, code for sidelining Levi, whispers of distraction slithering through halls. Ronald fought, but fatigue etched lines deeper. Victor, emboldened, escalated, voicemails laced with vitriol. You think a boy toy fixes your sins? I'll bury you both. Levi's resolve hardened. He dug deeper with the PI, uncovering Victor's spiral gambling debts, forged checks from Eleanor's estate. We countersue, Levi urged over late-night stakeouts, coffee-fueled. Expose him. Ronald hesitated, haunted eyes pleading. And drag her name through more mud? No. One more payout. Then mediation. Felt wrong. But love bent Levi's will. The transfer wired. A 7-figure ghost payment. Peace. They hoped. July's heat wave mirrored their passion's fever. They honeymooned early in Napa, vineyards rolling like green oceans. Days wine tasting, nights in canopied beds, Ronald's hands worshipping Levi's curves, thighs, hips, the dip of his spine. You're my vintage, Ronald teased, lips on Levi's navel, tongue delving lower until Levi arched. Keening. Climax shattered him, Ronald lapping every tremor, then flipping him for a rhythm that built like thunder. But paradise cracked. A call from Marcus. Victor lawyered up. He's countersuing for defamation. Claims you framed him. Rage boiled. Back in New York, the loft became a war room. Documents strewn, takeout boxes piling. Levi paced. This ends now. We go public, full story. Your truth. Ronald's nod was weary. For us, the press conference was a gauntlet. Flashes blinded as Ronald stood at the podium, Levi's hand hidden but steadying. My past is mine, flawed, human. But my present, Levi is my future. We're marrying, building a life unashamed. Gasps, then applause from allies. Victor's name dropped like a bomb. He's extorted me for a decade. No more. The fallout was biblical. Stocks rebounded on sympathy waves. Sponsors flooded the youth fund. But Victor retaliated viciously. A deepfake video, doctored to show Ronald confessing to Eleanor's murder, circulated on fringe sites. Levi's phone exploded. Hate mail, death threats. Fag enabler, one read. He deleted, but sleep fled. Ronald noticed, pulling him into the study one stormy night. This is my poison spilling on you. Levi straddled him in the leather chair, grinding slow. Our fight. Our win. The chair creaked under their urgency. Levi sinking onto Ronald, riding the wave of friction, gasps sinking with thunder. Release was cathartic, tears mingling as they slumped, bonded in battle. August brought fragile calm. Wedding invites went out, intimate, beachside in the Hamptons, 50 souls strong. Levi planned with Elena, wildflowers, acoustic guitar, vows under a chuppah nod to Ronald's Jewish roots. Excitement bubbled, tempered by Victor's silence, too quiet. Then, betrayal's blade fell. Levi returned early from a fitting, key turning in the loft door to muffled voices. He froze, heart plummeting. Ronald's timbre, laced with intimacy. Can't keep doing this, Vic. It's killing me. Killing him? Levi's world narrowed to the sliver of open bedroom door. He pushed in, vision tunneling. Ronald, shirtless. Victor gaunt, wild-eyed, pinned against the wall. Not in anger, but tenderness? Victor's hand on Ronald's chest, pleading. You promised. After Ellie, you said we'd. What the fuck? Levi's voice shattered the scene. They sprang apart, Ronald's face ashen. Levi, Save it. Numbness spread like frost. He bolted. Elevator descent a blur. Streets swallowing him in neon rain. He crashed at Marcus's. Phone silenced. Sobs racking until dawn. Betrayal wasn't abstract now, it was visceral. Victor's touch a phantom scar. Hours later, Ronald pounded the door. Voice raw. Let me explain. Please. Marcus relented. Ronald entered. Wrecked. Eyes red-rimmed. Suit rumpled. Victor's lying. He showed up. Drunk. Desperate. I was turning him down again. The promise was pity. Years ago. After the funeral. I gave him money. A job lead. But never. Not like that. Levi's laugh was hollow. And I should believe you? After the secrets. The half-truths. Ronald knelt. Grasping Levi's hands. Don't. I swear on everything, on you. On our rings, this is over. Victor's delusion. Not my sin. Doubt warred with love. Levi searched those gray eyes. Finding only anguish. Prove it. I will. Ronald pulled out his phone. Dialing the PI live. Full surveillance on Victor. And call the cops, harassment charges. It was a start. They returned home. Air thick with fragility. That night. No words, just bodies. Ronald's touches apologetic. Reverent. He knelt between Levi's legs. Mouth a supplication. Drawing out forgiveness in moans. Levi came with a cry. Pulling Ronald up for a joining that was reclamation. Deep. Deliberate. Tears on lashes. I trust you, Levi whispered after. And Ronald's sob was absolution. September's equinox marked renewal. Victor arrested, stalking. Extortion, his empire crumbling under evidence. The wedding loomed. Rehearsals filled with laughter. Marcus officiating with flair. Elena toasting with champagne sabers. The climax brewed in shadows. The night before the ceremony, Levi found a letter in Ronald's jacket. Eleanor's handwriting. Final words. Ronnie, if I go, no, I forgive you. Live true. Tucked with it. A note from Victor. She'd hate your rainbow wedding. End it, or I ruin the day. Terror gripped. Levi showed Ronald at midnight. Waves crashing outside the beach house. He's out on bail? Ronald's fury ignited. We call it off? No. We fight. Dawn broke on the beach. Guests assembling under a floral arch. Victor appeared at the perimeter. Disheveled. Eyes manic. Stop this farce, he bellowed. Lunging. Chaos erupted. Security swarmed. But Victor broke free, tackling Ronald to the sand. Fists flew. Victor's wild swings glancing off Ronald's guard, until Levi charged, shoving Victor back. Enough! The scuffle blurred. Grunts. Sand flying. Guests frozen. Then Marcus and Elena piled on, pinning Victor as cop sirens wailed distant. Ronald rose, bruised but unbroken, pulling Levi into a fierce embrace. You saved me. The officiant cleared his throat. Crowd hushed. Shall we? Vows exchanged amid adrenaline's haze. Ronald's voice steady. I promise to cherish your light, even in storms. Levi's, trembling, to hold you through every shadow. Rings slid on, kiss sealing it under cheers and salt spray. Honeymoon in Tuscany followed, vineyards healing wounds. Days wandering cypress lanes, nights in villa beds. Ronald's body a canvas, Levi painted with kisses, nape, ribs, inner thighs, culminating in slow, soul-deep unions. Husband, Ronald gasped, filling him, their essences merging in ecstasy. October's harvest moon found them home, married life a dance, shared commutes, joint therapy unpacking ghosts. Victor's trial loomed, but they faced it united, testimonies laced with truth. Yet Levi sensed undercurrents, Ronald's lingering glances at old photos, silences deepening. Just processing, he'd say, but Levi's heart whispered warnings. November's chill seeped into the city like doubt into dreams, frosting windows and Levi's resolve. The trial dominated headlines, Blackwood versus brother-in-law, blackmail bombshell. Courtrooms became their coliseum, Ronald on the stand dissecting Victor's web of lies with surgical precision. Levi sat rows back, hands squeezing Elena's, pride swelling at his husband's poise. Objection! Victor's lawyer barked as Ronald detailed the extortion timeline, but the judge stern. Fair, sustained truth. Victor's cross-examination was venom. You seduced my sister, then discarded her for boys. Flashes popped. Gasps rippled. Ronald met his gaze, unflinching. I loved Eleanor. But love evolves. I hurt her, I'll carry that. But you're twisting grief into greed. Levi testified next. Voice steady despite nausea. Victor's threats destroyed lives, mine. Ron's. Eleanor's memory. The jury leaned in. Victor's glare a impotent blaze. Verdict day dawned gray. Guilty extortion. Harassment. Sentence. 5 years. Restitution. As cuffs clicked, Victor lunged, spitting, You'll burn for this, Ronnie. Like she did. Bailiffs dragged him, but the words lodged like thorns. Outside, rain lashed, reporters swarming. Ronald shielded Levi, arm iron around his waist. No comment. Just justice. In the car, exhaustion crashed. Ronald's head on Levi's shoulder, sobs muffled. It's over. Finally, Levi stroked his hair, whispering, We won. But victory tasted bittersweet. Eleanor's shadow lengthened, Victor's curse echoing. December healed in holiday's glow. They hosted a tree trimming for shelter kids, Levi hoisting Jamie to place the star, Ronald's laugh booming as tinsel flew. That night, post-bedtimes, they slow danced in the loft, Coltrane on vinyl. Remember our first dance? Levi murmured, cheek to chest. How could I forget? You stepped on my toes. Ronald's grin faded to tenderness. You've given me a second chance at joy. Their rhythm shifted upstairs, clothes shedding like old skins. Ronald laid Levi on the bed, candles flickering, mouth tracing collarbones, nipples, the trail to his arousal. Let me worship you, he breathed, taking Levi deep, throat working with devotion. Levi threaded fingers in silver hair, hips bucking, climax ripping free in a litany of love. Ronald rose, slicking himself, entering with a groan that vibrated souls. They moved as one, tides, tempests, peaking in shared shudders, forever their mantra. New Year's brought resolutions, therapy intensification, a family expansion talk, adoption whispers. Levi bloomed under it, but fissures showed. Ronald's nightmares intensified, waking thrashing. Ellie. No, Levi soothed, but weariness crept. January's polar vortex trapped them indoors, blizzards blanketing the city. Cozy nights, board games, Levi trouncing Ronald at Scrabble with queer 4 triple word. But one storm-lashed evening, Levi found the journal leather-bound, hidden in Ronald's briefcase. Pages spilled confessions. Levi's light dims my guilt. Am I using him to atone? God, what if I break him like her? Heart in throat. Levi confronted him by the fire. Journal thrust forward. Am I atonement? Or love? Ronald paled, snatching it. Levi. Truth. Ron. Now. Agony twisted Ronald's face. Both. First. Maybe. Your kindness. It healed cracks. But now, you're everything. My love isn't borrowed. It's born. Doubt not. Prove it. No more journals. No more hiding. I swear. They burned it that night. Flames devouring secrets. Arms around each other as ash swirled. February's Valentines echoed their Aspen escape. A Berkshire's cabin, snow-cloaked. No phones. Just them cross-country skiing into whitescapes. Evenings in hot tubs. Steam rising like desire. Ronald fed Levi chocolate-dipped strawberries, then knelt in the water, mouth enveloping him under stars. Levi's moans mingled with wind. Release a meteor shower. On furs by the hearth, Ronald took him from behind, hands linked, thrusts syncing with heartbeats. My only, he vowed, spilling inside as Levi clenched, soaring. Spring teased with crocuses, their marriage a garden tended. They adopted a rescue dog, Max, a scruffy mutt who adopted them back. Tail wags bridging silences. Walks in the park became rituals. Ronald tossing frisbees, Levi sketching passers-by, Max bounding. But Victor's appeal loomed, a specter in May. Hearing set, tensions spiked. Ronald withdrew, office marathons resuming. Levi felt the drift. Dinners cold, touches obligatory. Talk, he pleaded one night, straddling Ronald on the couch. I'm scared, Ronald admitted, hands on Levi's hips. If he wins, it all unravels. Then fight. Levi ground down, eliciting a gasp. Friction built, clothes vanishing, Levi sinking onto him with a sigh. They rocked, urgent, salvation in surrender, climaxing with cries that chased shadows. Peel denied. Victor's empire dust. Summer solstice party. Rooftop bash. Queer icons toasting their resilience. Levi danced with Ronald under lanterns. Sweat slick. Alive. Yet autumn winds carried omens. October health scare. Ronald's checkup flagged anomalies. Stress-induced arrhythmia. Manageable, Doc said, but Levi's fear crystallized. Hospital nights. Beeping monitors. Ronald's hand pale in his. Don't leave me, Levi whispered, kissing knuckles. Never. Ronald's smile was wan, but eyes fierce. Recovery was glacial, meds, diets, therapy. Levi became nurse, lover, anchor spooning soups, massaging temples, midnight reassurances in tangled sheets. Intimacy shifted gentle, hands exploring softly, Ronald's fingers curling Levi to completion, mouth following with tender laps. Thank you, Ronald murmured, entering slow, their union a quiet hymn. November's trial anniversary marked catharsis. They visited Eleanor's grave, Queen's Cemetery mist-shrouded. Ronald knelt, placing lilies. I loved you. Forgive me. Levi stood sentinel, hand on shoulder. On the drive home, catharsis spilled. Ronald sobs. Levi's steady wheel. "She'd like you," Ronald said finally. "My light." Thanksgiving redux. Expanded table. Jamie now a mentee. Toasting family chosen. Post-feast. Levi and Ronald retreated. Pie forgotten for pie of another sort. Levi on knees, savoring Ronald's taste. Salt and home. Bed claimed them. Positions fluid sides. Spoons release a warm wave. December's holidays glowed brighter. Max's pause in tinsel. But as snow fell, Levi noticed pallor returning, Ronald's energy flagging, excuses piling. "Just the season," he waved off. New Year's Eve. Under fireworks, Levi proposed renewal, therapy together. Full disclosure, Ronald's kiss was fervent. Yes, January thawed secrets. Sessions unearthed Ronald's bisexuality shame. Eleanor's unspoken bisexuality too. Parallel pains. "We were both hiding," Ronald confessed. Levi shared his Ohio closets. Father's rejection scars. Bond deepened. Spring a renaissance. They surrogate dreams. Fertility talks. Names brainstormed. Alex for a boy. Riley for a girl. May's bloom positive test. Joy exploded ultrasounds. Nursery paints. Levi's belly swelled symbolic. Though not carrying. Their child, via surrogate, bound them eternal. Summer's heat mirrored anticipation. Baby moon in Provincetown. Whale watches. Beach naps. Nights tender. Ronald's hands on Levi's flat belly. Imagining. Lovemaking adapted, missionary soft. Levi atop for control, ecstasy laced with wonder. Fall harvest. Harvest of life. Labor in September. Under harvest moon. Hours of pushes. Ronald's grip bruising. Cry pierced. Boy. 8 pounds. Dark curls. Alexander Levi Blackwood, Alex. Parenthood's chaos. Diapers. Colics. 3 a.m. Feeds. Levi juggled work from home. Ronald delegating more. Stolen moments. Quickies in showers. Water cascading as Ronald braced Levi against tiles. Thrusts muffled by steam. "My family," he panted, spilling as Levi milked him dry. October's anniversary. 1 year wed. Victor jailed. They celebrated quiet, candlelit dinner. Alex asleep. Toasts to survival. But winter's grip tightened. November chills brought Ronald's cough. Persistent. Ignored. "Flu," he insisted. Bundling for Black Friday sales. Max yipping. December diagnosis dropped like frost. Stage 2 lymphoma. Scans confirmed. Chemo scheduled. World grade. "How?" Levi choked in the oncologist's sterile light. Stress. Genes bad luck. Ronald's hand trembled. "We'll fight." Holidays hollow. Tree half-strung. Alex's first Santa blurred by tears. Chemo started January. Ronald's hair shedding like autumn leaves. Levi shaved him bald. Kisses on dome. "Sexy pirate," he teased, but voice cracked. Nights blurred. Vomit basins. Morphine hazes. Intimacy flickered, gentle strokes. Oral when energy allowed. Ronald's mouth lazy but loving on Levi. Drawing sighs. "Still want you," Levi whispered, curling close. February's Valentine's. Hospital bed picnic. Alex's photo propped. Ronald's gift. Locket with family portrait. "Our forever." Spring struggled, treatments brutal, remissions teased. Levi's freelance writing bloomed. Memoir on love's wars, cathartic. May's Mother's Day, surrogate honored, but Ronald weakened. Tell Alex I love him, he murmured one dawn, eyes glassy. No goodbyes, Levi's plea fierce, but fear clawed. Summer solstice, brief rally. Beach day, Alex splashing, Ronald's laugh weak but real. Picnic sunset. You gave me life, Ronald said, hand on Levi's. You are life, kiss salt-tanged. Fall's colors mocked. Chemo failed. Palliative shift. October winds howled confessions. Hospice home. Alex with Elena. Levi read to Ronald their story. Drafted pages. Proud, Ronald whispered, fingers tracing Levi's ring. November's chill deepened. Thanksgiving. Broth sips. Marcus's jokes. Black Friday. Ronald slipped. Unresponsive. Ambulance wail. Yar frenzy. Code blue. Paddles. Levi screams. Flatline. Grief tsunami. Funeral gray. Eulogies blurring. Levi clutched Alex. Max whining. Loft echoed empty. December's holidays. First without. Tree lit for Alex. Ornaments teary. New Year's. Toast to ghosts. To Ron. January thawed numbness. Memoir published. Whispers in the dark. Bestseller. Shelters funded. Levi dated tentatively, but heart walled. Spring's renewal. Alex's first steps. Toward a photo of smiling Ron. Dada, he babbled. Levi smiled through tears. Love's echo lingered, whispers in dark. Eternal. Winter's grip lingered into the new year, but Levi refused to let it freeze his soul. Alex's giggles became anchors, chubby hands tugging at strings of lights as they decorated a smaller tree, traditions pared down, but no less luminous. The memoir's success brought interviews. Oprah's couch, where Levi choked on, Ron taught me love isn't possession, it's release. Viewers wept. Royalties poured into the youth fund, now bearing Ronald's name, Blackwood Bridges. Yet nights were voids. Levi woke gasping, reaching for phantom warmth. Max's wine his only companion. Therapy helped, group for queer widowers, stories mirroring his lost loves, rebuilt lives. One evening, a man named Theo shared, barista with kind eyes, tattooed arms. Coffee after turn to walks, tentative touches. No rush, Theo said, respecting ghosts. Spring bloomed defiant. Alex toddled parks, Levi pushing swings, wind whispering Ron's laugh. Dates with Theo deepened. Dinners, where Levi confessed scars. Theo sharing his own, coming out at 16. Disowned. Rebuilt in Brooklyn co-ops. Their first kiss. Under April showers. Tasted of possibility. Soft. Exploratory. Theo's hand cupping Levi's neck like a question. Guilt gnawed. Is it betrayal? He asked Marcus over beers. Survival. Marcus clinked glasses. Ron's gift live. Summer's heatwave tested. Alex's second birthday. Pool party with Elena's clan. Theo attended. Splashing with the tyke. Earning dimpled grins. Later. Bonfire. Theo's arm around Levi. Fireflies dancing. Home. Alex asleep. They tumbled to bed. Clothes shed slow. Theo's mouth mapping Levi's chest. Reverent. Beautiful, he murmured, descending, tongue swirling until Levi arched. Release a long-held breath. Theo rose, entering gentle, rhythms building to shared peaks. Stay, Levi whispered after, and Theo did, dawn finding them tangled. Fall's foliage turned therapy gold. Leaves crunching under therapy walks with Alex in backpack. Levi's second book brewed, fiction. Gay romances laced with humanism. Theo read drafts. Edits gentle. More hope here. Ron's legacy. Victor's appeal final denial hit headlines. Levi ignored, focusing forward. Thanksgiving, expanded table. Theo carving turkey. Alex smashing yams. Toasts to absence. But eyes on presence. Theo's hand under table. Steady. December's magic. Alex's wonder at lights. Theo stringing garlands. Christmas Eve. Gift exchange. Theo's present a leather journal. For new stories. Levi's. Custom mugs. World's okayest dad. Laughter dissolved to loft. Alex down. Theo pulling Levi to rug. Kisses heated. Hands roaming. Theo's fingers prepping. Entering with care. Thrusts deep. Levi's nails raking back. Love this, Theo gasped. Angling for prostate sparks. Climax crashed. Bodies quaking. Afterglow soft confessions. I love you, Theo said. Tentative. Levi's heart stuttered, echo of Ron. But new timbre. I think I do too. New Year's. Rooftop party. Theo's countdown kiss fireworks. Resolutions, family therapy. Adoption talks, Theo open. Scars shared. January's snows buried old griefs. Alex called Theo Uncle T. Trust budding. Levi proposed casually over pancakes. Move in? Build this. Theo's yes was syrup sweet. Boxes packed by Valentine's. Spring equinox. Wedding small. Central Park. Vows under blossoms. I choose you. Daily. Rings exchanged. Alex ring bearer with grin. Summer solstice. Positive test. Their own IVF miracle. Alex big brother prep. Nursery murals painted tandem. Fall harvest. Harvest of hearts. Book tour. Theo tagging. Alex with sitters. Readings raw. Love's losses. Gains. November's chill. Alex's preschool play. Theo filming teary. Thanksgiving, full circle. Bridges built. December's close. Tree full. Family whole. Under lights. Levi held Theo. Alex asleep on lap. We made it, he whispered. Theo kissed temple. And we'll keep whispering. In the light now. Life's tapestry wove on. Conflicts past. Emotions layered. Romance renewed. Humanity in every thread. Ron's whisper faded. Not gone but harmonized in new songs. Levi. Once assistant. Now author. Father. Lover found his voice in the dawn. Humanistic close. Love isn't one flame, but embers kindling others. In America's vast heart, they thrived dramatic scars, emotional depths, romantic sparks, ever forward.